With a test, I'm going to do a test with the Deus here. 11-inch X35, 9-inch X35, and the 9-inch HF round coil. And I'll just turn it on here. I'm going to start with the big coil, right? There's a reason why I don't use the big coils. It's because of this right here. This Deus Fast program, just stock, right? Number 3 program. This is the reason why I don't use big coils, because the EMI. There's EMI everywhere, man. And it's getting worse and worse throughout the years, you know, because everybody's going to wireless and they have routers around and there's telephone wires, right? Lots of nails here. This stock program here is discriminated to 6.1 stock, you know, preset program. It gives you a 6.1 discrimination, so you're not going to hear the iron. It's discriminating the iron, and I think a coin is right around here somewhere. All my metal detectors are telling me there's a coin around there, around a bunch of iron, right? Lots of nails around here, and that target right there is being discriminated out because I'm discriminating the iron next to it, right? If you have a bunch of nails around and you're discriminating, those non-ferrous targets are not going to be able to be hit on very good. You're going to get a lot of jumpy tones because the iron is being discriminated out with it, right? Right? You know, sure, I can adjust my frequency and my gain and my auto response, my reactivity, but this is just the stock programs, right? All my metal detectors have told me that there's been I don't know what it is down there, but I think it's a coin. All my metal detectors tell me that it's a coin about 3 or 4 inches deep. Probably a dime or something. Right? Not even hitting it, man. Barely hitting it, right? Because being discriminated out, right? Now I'll go down to a coin that I know is in the ground here. It's a dime at 4 inches deep right here. I put it in here about 8 months ago. Sure, it's hitting it good, but it pulses on all the other nails, right? Getting a lot of EMI. So I'll just go over this stock hot program here, right? Stock hot program, a lot of EMI still, right? Yes, it is hitting it, but not very good. See, I get a dead spot right there. This is just stock hot program, right? It's not hitting it very good at that angle, right? And I'll go over this other one here. This is minus 6.4 discrimination. That's what the discrimination level is on the stock hot program, right? It's coming out a little bit, right? I know a target is in there somewhere, but there's so much iron there. I had too big of a coil. A lot of falsing on that iron there, right? Now I'll go over this other coin here. I can hear it it's just barely coming through it. And this is a big coil. This only is a shallow target, right? Just barely hitting it. Now I'll discriminate here in hot program, which I normally don't do, right? I'm at minus 6.4 right now. Now I'll go up to 7 or 8 or something like that. 8.8, right? Getting a lot of falsing, right? Now I'm discriminated and I can't hear that target now because that non-ferrous is being discriminated out along with that iron, right? I can't pinpoint it because I'm just not getting a very good tone, right? Now I'll go with this other dime here or whatever it is. You can barely hear it. And all those other nails are being discriminated out too, but this coin is coming out a lot better. Well, coming down here, I want to get this all in the same video, right? That coin's coming out pretty good. It's pretty shallow, right? Still not hitting it that great. It is hitting it fairly good though. But the EMI, right? Now we'll just change coils here. Same program, hot program, discriminated to 8.8, right? 9-inch X35 coil here. that target's coming out a little bit better there, right? It's still hard to pinpoint because I'm discriminating in that iron out, right? Now I'll come over this other coin here, right? So this coil just spanked that 11 inches butt big time, right? Clear as day, right? Now I'll go back down to minus discrimination, minus 6.4 discrimination, and I'll show you, right? And I can change frequencies, and a lot of stuff will change. I understand that.
Looks like he's talking to himself.
There's another. There's that coin right here. It's just too much to take in, right? The lower frequencies has that iron audio really loud, right? And the coins are gonna give you a lower tone in the lower frequencies, right? Just for some reason, it just does that. Now I'll come over that coin here. Look at that. Look at how good that comes out, right? With this smaller coil, right? I'll come over this other one here.
Really?
Minus 6.4 discrimination.
Pretty close.
It's hitting it a little teeny bit better than the large coil, the 11-inch coil. Now I'll come over to the 9-inch round coil, HF coil. And I'll show you the difference. This is why I like the HF coil, is it gets through my soil, right? I'll just take this one off here.
What'd they say? Is it going to really be like 105 today?
This is the stock hot program, minus 6.4 discrimination, right? Look at how fat, the recovery speed is a lot faster. You know, I didn't change anything. Actually, the frequency is at 14.4 kilohertz. Those others were, I think, at 17 kilohertz. It's not hitting that target now with the high frequency coil, but that's a huge iffy signal anyway. I think it's a washer or something. But I'll come over this coin here, right? Now I'll come over this coin that I buried. I know a dime is here at 4 inches. I think it's 5 inches. See, I'm getting very little EMI, right? Very little EMI. I'm not going to change anything, right? Now I'll change something. I'll go up on my discrimination here, right, to positive 8.8, just like I was before. I'll try to get there, close to it. I can swing this coil around a lot faster. And I'll come over all this iron. I'm discriminated just in the hot program, right? Still getting pulsing, right? It's not hitting it. Now I'll come over this coin here, right? This is why I prefer the HF coil. When it starts getting wet, this big coil doesn't perform at all in my hot red soil. I want the higher frequencies, man, to get through those minerals in my soil. And that coil does really good. The 9-inch X35 coil does really good in the dry soil, like right here. In the wintertime, when it's really wet out, both those coils struggle big time. And if I want to get coins, I can still use the high frequency coil because I'm in 14 kilohertz, right? You see a lot of machines. You see a lot of machines, hunting machines, that have frequencies, you know, right around 12 to 13, 14 kilohertz, up to 17 kilohertz. And with the X35 coil, you have the option to hit on gold or coins. or something larger target. I think the X35 coils are good for getting large iron objects, deep iron objects, because lower frequencies. But the high frequency coil, I can swing a lot faster because it's a lot lighter, and I can change the battery in the HF coil. I can replace the battery in it. With the X35 coils, can't do that, right? The X35 coils, if your battery goes bad in it, you have to get basically send it in and get a new battery in it, right? You can't do it yourself. With the HF coil, I can change my batteries. If my battery dies on the HF coil, just swap it out, right? And I'm trying to go fairly shallow, right? A lot of people are saying, oh, what's some comments on my channel, what's the deepest machine? What's the deepest machine? You know, it's hard to answer that question. What's the deepest machine in my soil? Probably the simplex. You know, the simplex and the Equinox perform very well. I don't know why the simplex performs as good as it does, because just a 12 kilohertz machine, but I've gotten a lot of gold with the simplex. And the Equinox, I just get those high tones on the EMI, right? The high tones on the EMI, the simplex does the same thing. But the deep stuff, you know, let's get back to the deep stuff. If you're going for the deep stuff, you know, you better have hit that site for a long time, hundreds and hundreds of hours, because there's so much. If you're going for something deep, okay, stay with me here. If you're going for something deep, you can't just go to a site and just hit all the deep targets, right? Metal detecting just does not work that way, right? You have to clear all the junk out of the surface first, right? And all those sites that have those epic deep stuff in it, there's a lot of junk on the surface that you have to spend hundreds of hours getting out before you get those deeper silvers, right? Or those deeper coins, right? In farm fields, it's a different story. Farm fields get plowed and, you know, stuff comes up the surface. But when you're swinging a big coil, you're susceptible to a lot of variables, a lot more variables like EMI, minerals in the soil, other detectors who are around you. You know, a big coil is gonna, you know, see a lot in the ground. You're just gonna see a lot of iron, so it's gonna be tougher to pinpoint those targets. Sure, it might hit it, but pinpointing them is a different story. And with these X35 coils, they just don't perform well in the wetter soil here, because there's just so many minerals in here. I have to make a lot of adjustments with them. Frequencies, the auto response, the sensitivity, the overload response, just a lot of dialing in when the soil's wet. But when it's dry out, I think the X35 coils, the X35 coil, the 9-inch one, I don't use the 11-inch one because there's just no reason to it, you know, reason for it. It just doesn't pinpoint very well. It's a lot heavier. I'm not trying to go deep, like I said. I'm not trying to go 10 inches, 12 inches deep. I can't, you know, I can't get stuff out of my soil at 10 or 12 inches deep in most situations. Maybe in the wintertime, you know, I'll be able to go a little bit deeper, dig deeper, because the soil's so dry here, you know, it's clay. And with the 9-inch HF coil, I can swing a lot faster. You know, when you want to go for the deep stuff, you have to really know that site, you know, in most cases. You know, sure, if you get to a site for the first time, you'll hit on some deeper relics, you know, the easier targets to get out. But all these detectors will pick up coins, you know, at 6 inches deep, and that's what I want. I want a detector that I can just swing around and I just have one setup, right? The 9-inch X35 coil doesn't do the wet soil, my hot soil, right? And the frequency range of the X35 coil is not that great. You know, it's like 4 kilohertz, which I never use. I mean, I will never use the lower frequencies on these coils because my soil just does not permit it, right? I just get a lot of pulsing on the minerals in my soil. The X35 coils have a very small range of frequencies, right? 4 kilohertz to basically 25 kilohertz. The HF coil has a frequency range of 14 kilohertz to 74 kilohertz. So you have a wide range of items that you can go for, right? You can go for gold, you can go for small objects, you can go for coins, because it does have that 14 kilohertz frequency. And if you decide to go out to on a dig and a guy has a small coil and it's really trashy, right, on a hunt, and it's trashy, and you take out your big coil and you want to go for deep stuff, you are swinging slower, right? Because it takes longer to pinpoint your targets, and you're not going to be able to get through the thick iron. And a person with a smaller coil, no matter what detector they have, if a person has a smaller coil, like an 8-inch or a 6-inch or 9-inch coil, will walk circles around you and just start smacking stuff out. And they will get more out of the ground. Sure, you might get some deeper targets, and those deeper targets are probably going to be some junky targets, because you're going slower. You're getting fewer targets out of the ground. I want to get as much as I can out of the ground, clear out the ground, clear. It's like layers, you know. It's a process. I have a lot of projects, a lot of trashy projects that I've been working on for years, and I'm still pulling stuff out of it, right? You have to go through these projects like layers. It's a process, man. Inch by inch by inch by inch by inch. And eventually, you know, I'll start swinging some bigger coils, but normally I don't. You know, I have a lot of spots that are so full of clad and rings and jewelry within 6 inches deep on, you know, within 6 inches deep. Like I said, you know, rings and jewelry don't really go that deep, because the soil can wrap around the rings and wrap around those little loops, and it can suspend it in the grass. With coins, they go deeper, but, you know, like I said, all it takes is one gold ring to equal over 100 silver coins. And that's why I use smaller coils, because I can swing faster, I can get more targets out, and I can pinpoint those targets a lot easier and get them out fast, you know, just clearing the ground out. That gives me an opportunity to go deeper, right? You're not going to be able to get a lot of stuff out of the ground, especially if you're in a lot of EMI, or if you're in a really trashy spot with a satellite dish like this, right? 11-inch coils, you know, sure, it matters. Just like I said, it matters how much you've detected on that site. You really got to know the soil. You got to learn the soil. You got to know which settings are going to perform the best. You got to know which coil is going to work, what settings are going to work, what frequency is going to work, and it takes a long time to go deep. Like I said, if you're in cleaner ground, all these detectors will pick up coins, deep coins. You know, it's just a gimme. Coins are easy to hit because they're, you know what they are. With the smaller targets and the kind of iffy tones, you want a smaller coil. Crank the gain up as high as you can. Well, thank you for watching. Please subscribe.